Oh, that's us. Oh my gosh, we're live. And we are not taking up the entire screen. What's going on here? Ron, what's going on, Ron? How are you? I think my settings are off. All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the after sound show. I'm sorry that I'm gonna have to figure this streaming thing out. But I have a guest with me because I didn't want to be alone on my first day. So for many of you, many of you know if you've come through on the streams on the YouTube channel that I usually have Darkestnyte on with me. So Darkestnyte, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
All right, let's see here. So I'm just trying to see. Ron is saying it's on me. So does that mean I'm in the clear? I think that might mean I'm in the clear. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Okay, so we're good. We're good. Technical difficulties out of the way.
First 30 seconds, you're good to go.
First 30 seconds. All right, we're good to go. All right, Darkestnyte. I think you and I have already talked today for like an hour and a half privately, just because we love this game so much. And we've already talked maybe for hours this entire week. But we are now 1 week into this new reward system. So not for me, but for this potentially brand new audience that we have here, because you and I usually talk over on YouTube. How are you feeling about the season so far? And let's just do this. I think we should do quick introductions for folks who may not know us. So I'm After Sound. I'm a musician that started creating content. I do music for the team as well. And I'm here with Darkestnyte, who has become a very good friend of mine because literally we talk about this game all day. So Darkestnyte, a little bit about yourself, and then if you want to get into your thoughts so far this season.
Yeah, so nothing really special. So I've been a gamer for about 35 years. Started out playing Magic the Gathering back in beta. So it's been a major part of, just my, gaming focus. I found Splinterlands as a result of a Brave ad. And because my friends wouldn't play Magic the Gathering with me anymore because they were tired of getting beat. So, in my frustration, I looked for something else to play and found Splinterlands. And, after that, that's all she wrote, right? So it's been a great experience. Fun. Yeah. So in terms of we've been a weekend. How do I feel? It's been a lot of ups and downs. Like we talked about that earlier today, right? Frustrations. The grind is super real, and I think my concern, not even a concern, right? My hope is that all of this grinding, I think I played 10 times as many battles as I have by this point in the season.
Can you share everyone your ECR today and what your lowest ECR has been this past week?
Yeah. So this is me taking a break, right? So I said I was going to let my ECR rest, but right now it's at 26.93. And I am not slowing down. I'm just ECR, what did I say?
What is ECR? Who
exactly.
Even knows? What is it?
Not worry about it. But, my hope is, and this is what we talked about earlier, right? My hope is all of this time, all this attention, all of this work will pay off at some point, right? That's really my biggest fear right now is, could I be grinding out in bronze and silver, right?
Well, we can talk about that. Yeah,
and just getting tons of chests, or is the effort that I'm putting in at champion really worth it? I don't know, right? We're halfway through the season. There's no way I'm going to know really until the end. So,
see, the thing is, you haven't spent as much time in champion. So again, I feel like, you finish in champ 3, and I don't say this in a derogative way by any means, but like you were one of those people who you would grind to champion in the old way. You would grind to champion, and as soon as you got there, in order to not risk losing it, you would stop playing for the end of the season and generously delegate out your cards. Now this changes kind of the incentive for you, and so I'm curious to see, one, how high up you can get into champion, but two, the thing is, do you believe, and feel free to answer this however you want, but do you believe that you can get into champ 1 or even champ 2, or champ 2 or champ 1?
So I've been at champ 2 before, right? And I stopped, again, right after I got to champ 2 for the first time, they made a change that says it's no longer the, the highest rank that you've achieved.
Oh, it's where you finish. Yeah.
It's where you actually end. That was literally the next week after I got champ 2. And so I never got back again because it's easy, right? It's super competitive there, and so when you hit, champion, it's like, okay, I made it, and I'm not going to risk it. Right now, the risk is taken away, so I'm
Mhm.
still continuing to play. So I think I said in our guild chat, I said, hey, champion two by midnight, but as a result, I ended up getting pushed back to diamond. So
This game humbles you so quickly.
absolutely. But it's fun, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I know that I will get back to champion, and I've just been exposed to such great players, right? So when I get beat, go back and I look at the game, or even if I win, I go back and look at the game. So it's definitely a time of learning, right? I've been learning a
Mhm.
lot, so. But it's fun. I mean, having a great time. And it's super exciting. So much is happening I actually coined it the Splinterverse today.
Mm.
So much happening in the Splinterverse, and just real life. We had the town hall yesterday. That was great. So there's so much goodness. So
I love how excited Matt is that he's just like listening in and is like, you know what,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna talk today.
oh yeah,
He wasn't even supposed to be on, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna come in and just chime in on a couple topics. So,
yeah,
but it's a good time for Splinterlands players, I would say, because whether or not you agree with all the changes,
sure.
so much of it is just exploring a new meta for the game, like a new meta for the game, right? Like, as we've been discussing, is it better to play at a higher league than your deck? I think people are seeing
Right.
the struggle with that. Is it better to play where you're supposed to be? Is it better to play at the lower leagues, delegating out to alt accounts? I mean, these are the conversations that are happening across the across the space right now.
Right. But here's the cool part, right? Everyone gets to play the way they want.
Mhm.
Right. And so some people like the struggle, right? I enjoy a challenge, right? Um, Again, as long as it's worth it, right? Like, I would love to get 30, bronze, silver, or gold chests per day, but my hope is at the champion level, all that work will pay off, right? So
Yeah.
you've asked me about my season. What's your season been like?
My season's been good so far. So I would say that I'm playing with a diamond level deck. I think it's
Mhm.
competitive for diamond, but not for
Yeah,
champion. But with the deck, and this was delegated from you. So
yeah,
for folks who might be new, we're running a little bit of an experiment where Darkestnyte is playing with some of the wild cards, and I'm playing with primarily Chaos Legion cards. Just to see both of us in diamond trying to race back to champion. He's beaten me already, so I think that shows where the where the power still lies.
right.
But we don't have the legendary summoners for Chaos Legion yet, so
Right. And
that
I think
that
that's going to matter. I think
that could change
I
things.
think
Yeah.
that's going to change everything, to be honest. So it's an incomplete deck, basically.
Yeah. So, I'm able to earn a couple of chests per day. Again, I just haven't had the chance to really grind as much the last couple of days. And then I was also letting my ECR rest a little bit.
Mhm.
So I could probably earn maybe 5 to 7 chests per day. But the problem is I'm playing at the bottom feeder level of Diamond 3. So I'm just like barely staying in Diamond 3, sometimes jumping to Diamond 2. But in terms of reward shares, it's definitely a grind to try and get anything champion level. So my thought is, what would this look like with this deck specifically if I were to be going for diamond chests? And I think
Yeah,
it'd be a lot easier. And
yeah, I agree.
yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. What's been nice though, and I've talked about this on the channel, and I've talked about this with you previously, but for folks that might be new, like, it shows which of the Chaos Legion cards are truly powerful, right? Like, we see Kelia as the most expensive summoner. And that makes sense because not just Kelia, but the water team for Chaos Legion is
Yeah,
incredibly powerful. I've beaten all of the Chaos legendary summoners with Kelia alone. So that's exciting for me to see that there's some kind of game balance that's happening.
absolutely. Yeah, it's
Can
good, right? It's definitely competitive.
Mhm.
I lose all the time to Kelia, and I mean, again, I don't know that's what's going to happen when I make my team, right? But I mean, I think that should definitely be a thing, is to prepare for Kelia. In most cases, especially if
Yeah,
water is an option, for sure.
yeah, for sure. Can you see the comments? Do you have the comments up?
I cannot see them.
If you want, you can go to I think it's
Oh
twitch.tv
yeah. Okay.
slash Splinterlands TV. But I just wanted to take a moment to recognize some of the folks here. So we got Ron's in the house, Rogues Guild is here, Bajoke, Bootops 18, Virus. What's going on, guys? The human bots are here live. Yes, we are the human bots. We are the bots now. Vinap Games, what's going on? Druid's Blood, good to see you. Rondon, yes, he did get it down to 26%. Okay, it's too much, but now the ECR, I think, is on second place. Yeah, I mean, ECR, I don't think ECR will matter as much for those who just enjoy playing, because it's that addictive nature of like, okay, even if my ECR is trash, you can look at the chest and be like, well, it would only take X amount more wins to get to the next chest. So how much time do I got, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that for me, it's more important. I think I said this in previous live streams, is to have to get ranking, right? To get the rating, the points, right? So the higher you go, the more that you're actually realizing from each battle. Again, that formula that they provided us, right? It's your rating, cubed. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So I think once you hit over, let's say 4,000, right, your ECR is probably going to matter less anyway. Right. So, and then you have the other bonuses, right? You have your guild bonus, you have your, whether you're using gold cards or not, all of those things factor in. So even if even if my ECR is 0, which it'll never go to 0, right? But even if it's 0, I think the impact, while still there, is negated by some of these other bonuses and by your rating.
Okay.
So.
Well, so I was just checking to see we are just about hitting the halfway point for the season, like 7 days and 12 hours. So I'm curious to see, now that you're back in Champion, what this will look like for you and how many chests you can start to earn. Because Godzilla, who is another frequent collaborator on the channel, has talked about how he's earning a lot more chests now in gold. Like the beginning of the season has always been a grind, even in the old system, but this new system, that hasn't really changed. But now, later on, the opportunity, I feel like once you get back to where your rating normally is around, and for you, again, I would argue that we don't know, because you've always artificially stopped yourself from playing. Whereas, someone like myself, like I'll get humbled enough in like high gold or maybe low diamond, and I'm just like, I think I'm done now.
Yeah. So I would say, so right now, for season end, I'm at 45 chests, right? So we're halfway through, literally halfway through right now. So if I double that, but I think I'm going to do more than double, just because of the increasing number of reward shares that I'll get, because my ratings will be higher. I'm thinking that I'll end around 90 to 100, which is right about
that's higher than higher than your goal of 80. So that's good.
Exactly. So I'm more than halfway now. So I think now the benefit is I'll still get the same number of chests I would have gotten, but now they're going to be a higher quality. I hope, right? That RNG is brutal sometimes, right? So we need to, hopefully it all pays off, right? And if it doesn't pay off this season, then maybe it'll pay off next season. I've heard some of the other, players have gotten some really big payouts, right? So I hope one day, I'll be one of those, right? Hopefully you'll be one of those, right? So
hopefully I'll get something good.
I think that as long as we are benefiting from the amount of effort that we're putting in, because I think everyone's playing more. I've seen people that I've never seen their names before, right? So people are definitely back, and they're really fighting hard to to be competitive.
Agreed. All right, let's catch up on a couple of other comments here. All right, Darren's in the house. What's going on, Darren? Dark Dragon. I'm not even worried about my collection rate anymore. Luthien's here. What's going on, Luthien? Ron said he got 45,000 reward shares on his last win.
Awesome.
But then he said some Mavs had to show me that was child's play. How much are you getting? Didn't you send me a screenshot with like 57K or something like that?
Yes, I think
that's
no. The
level?
most I got in one day was 10K. That was spread across a couple of chests that I opened. I have not gotten the big one yet.
No, not DEC. The reward shares for winning.
Oh yes, I sure did. Yes, I sent you one. It was right about 56,000.
56,000. Okay, that was in Champion though, right? When you won in Champion. Okay,
it sure was. That's why I sent it to you, because I was like, whoa, look at that.
Significantly higher. Yeah. All right, we got a question here from Nardian. Are you guys planning to go to Splinterfest? Ooh, let's talk about Splinterfest for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes.
So for those who don't know, Darkestnyte and I are part of the Archmage Arius
All right.
Disciples Guild. He recruited me a while back, but cool group of fellas. Or I mean people, I should say, not just fellas.
Yeah.
So sounds like we're planning a pretty big contingency
Yes.
to go. So it'd be good to get some guild representation. What I'm really excited about, the fact that now I'm part of a guild and you guys are all like, once we get there, I wonder if there'll be this kind of like in-person guild rivalry. I've already said we should totally make shirts, like walk around like a posse.
Yes.
But
Well, I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Because we have some artists in the guild, right? They've already made some of the
that's true.
graphics,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's going to be up to us, right? So yeah.
So it'll be fun to see, because I see all these guild names that during the brawls, and I see a lot of the top players as well. So it'll be cool to like, oh, there's that guy on that team.
Yes, of course. Oh yeah. This guy that kept beating me, right? So yeah, but I mean, again, it's interesting, right? It's like any other type of arena, right? You have respect for some of the better players. There's a lot to be learned, right?
Yeah.
Even when you lose, you get to go back and do a little bit of an analysis as to why you've lost. The rules apply, but again, there's still RNG in there, right? So even if when you should have won, you miss that that afflicting that poison, or you miss that retaliate, or stun or whatever, it changes the whole, everything. So
it'd be a fun little experiment here now, because my curiosity is getting the better of me. But I want to go check. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to go check and see who the top person on the leaderboard is for champion right now.
Interesting.
And I want to see how many reward shares they got on their last win.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you will be able to see that.
So, well, he doesn't have the power, but let's just see. We should be able to see the battles, right? Recent battles.
Yes, we should. Yeah.
And
here we go.
Replay. 47,000 with an ECR of 30%.
So we're all doing the same thing.
Crap.
We're all destroying our ECR, right?
Well, check this out. I mean, this is over 150,000 reward shares.
Is it?
Well, yeah, at 30%. I mean, you multiply that by like more than
absolutely.
3.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
And he's not even playing with like any gold cards. Oh, win streak of 30% and guild of 15%, but no gold cards. Interesting. All right, good to know.
And that was 3 hours ago, right? So, that's you 3 hours ago. So, I wonder if he, is playing regularly. So that would be an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else are people talking about here. I was a little upset about the beat Darkestnyte put on me today. Did you play someone named Virus? Do you remember that?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't know if that's his real name, because I think I would have remembered that name, but
Virus with a 5. Is that you, Virus, or is this a different Virus? Luthien saying she got 75k RP. Okay, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
well, if I beat you, I'm really sorry. No, I'm not. Sorry.
No, you're not. Don't apologize for greatness.
No.
So Ron's saying, I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed you didn't have a custom intro song. I guess Ron, I was just so worried that like this wasn't gonna work and I was not doing things the right way. So I just want to make sure everything worked. But you know what? We'll spice this show up in the future.
Oh, dude, speaking about a song, you had a new song in the new promo for Jared Scar.
Jared Scar promo
yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to write. I don't know how much I can share about that, but it actually. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can share some behind the scenes. So from a creative standpoint, I read the lore about Jared Scar, and we wanted to kind of make him the highlight of this trailer, right? Especially because he's such a pivotal person in the lore, and so I started writing this song about him while the creative team was working on this visual. So I wrote this song that had nothing to do with the visual, so we had to go back and redo some things. But it's such a fun way for me because as a musician, I'll just write something and whatever makes sense to me. But this is the first time that I've had to go back and do something collaborative like that.
Yeah.
Where now they send me the visual. Well, at that point they sent me the visual, and it was okay, here's the story that we're trying to tell.
Yeah.
and I had to go. It challenged me in a couple of different ways, but I was really happy with how it came out. It seemed like the team was as well, and
Yeah, it was good. It was really
yeah,
good.
everything just turned out great. So, and I want to be very clear. It's not just me. There's a whole like audio team out there too. So Blaudis, who was on the town hall yesterday, I work closely with him. He's very talented. Does a lot of really cool stuff that I think, like he said, is it hasn't hit the game yet, but it's coming and it's really
Yeah.
cool. And then Isaria as well, who I mean, incredibly talented. So there's a well-rounded team here. I feel like my name gets thrown out a lot, and I feel weird about it because I'm just like, oh, it's like a team effort. I'll write the songs, but they really help bring it to life.
Oh, I know exactly how you feel. So after I heard that, you remember I said to you, I said, dude, you've got to do a jam session at Splinterfest. So
Yeah,
we're
well,
in.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be like the Archmage Arius Lounge. We'll just have like some
Oh,
music
of
playing.
course. Well, we talked about that too. So, yes, we're definitely. I think we're going to have a big. So, to answer the question about Splinterfest, we're definitely going to be there. Looking forward to have a lot of fun. So,
What are you most looking forward to? So let's end the Splinterfest thing with this. What are you most looking forward to with Splinterfest coming later this year?
um, to really be around people that really have a lot of passion around the game, right? I want to meet some of
Hmm.
the devs, right? Maybe have some of the contests, right? So we have, live tournaments, right? Where we're all there in the same room. That was one of the things I think I sent you a message about, right? It'll be great if they have the mobile app, the new mobile app ready to go, right? So we can all just be there on our phones as opposed to have laptops. Though I would bring a laptop, right?
Hmm.
But it would be great if the mobile app was ready, at least maybe even to be tested, right? Or announced or revealed at that point.
Yeah.
But really just hanging out, just hanging out in Vegas, like what's nothing wrong with Vegas, and
Well,
just having a good
you
time.
need a reason for that, right?
No reason needed.
All
So
right.
I think just to go and have a good time.
I want to give a quick shout out to So Sneakery for rating with a party of 51. Yo, we
Woo.
got 44 people up in here. We're gonna have to do something interesting. So we got about 40 minutes left on the stream. I got some chests to open up, and then we'll do some giveaways towards the end.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. So for myself, Luthians, you're looking forward to meeting me? Wow, that I'm looking forward to meeting you too. Actually, well, we've talked about this already, but you know what's been so interesting about this game, and it's changed my life in many ways. And I don't talk about from like a financial, I'm not going to go buy my Lambo tomorrow, but
Right.
just I feel like I've really been able to make some interesting connections, build friendships and relationships with a lot of different people through it, which is
Yeah.
it says so much about the community around the game, which I
Yeah.
admire. I mean, you're one of those folks who I think you and I have now had the opportunity to connect on much more than the game,
Yeah.
which has been really interesting. But what Splinterfest will do, at least for me, what I'm looking forward to is being able to like shake hands, look people face to face,
Absolutely.
like just that element of like making a lot of these digital relationships coming out of a global pandemic and all this, and like being able to actually meet people who, like you said, have similar mindsets, values, passions, interests. I mean, the amount that you and I can talk about this game is actually quite impressive to me.
Yeah, it's hours, right? Like hours, and
hours
you're
at this
like,
point.
and we never talk about the same thing, right? It's
No.
always something new. We go down a rabbit hole, but I think we're not the only ones that do that, right? I've listened to lots of streamers. I've listened to the town halls, right, where those guys just are all over the place, and so it's not just us doing it, right? It's everyone that's kind of has the same level of passion. So, yeah.
All right, let's see here. So
See your oh, actually I have the screenshot that I sent you. It was 57,521 reward shares.
you have some work to do because people are already saying they got Luthien said she got 75K, so I want to get that screenshot from you.
Yeah, but that was me with 70% ECR. So
With 70%. Well,
that was with 70.
once you get into Champion 2, I think things are going to change
Oh yeah, it's gonna
dramatically
light up.
for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
So, and how far are you right now from Champion 2?
So right now I am at let's look at that real quick. Oops. It is, oh man, I have so many windows open. Give me a second.
It's all good. Let me catch up on the comments here. So Icy Flow's in the house. Icy Flow, I'll only go to Splinterfest if I can get stoned with Aftersound and Darkestnyte.
I'm too old for that.
Well, you can hit it. Slide into the DMs, bro. We'll chat. But it'll be
Yep.
good to meet you. It'll be good to meet you sober anyway.
Yep.
All right. So Raiders, please refresh. Oh, thank you, so Sneak Re. Appreciate that. Rose Guild, yeah, only on for an hour. I mean, you know what's crazy is I already do 3 streams a week, and I was like, I want to do this one too without taking anything away. So yeah, an hour felt good. It's like because most
that's
of my
short. That's super short for us, right? Like we're always like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So
well, we lose track of time here. I need to make sure we keep track of time, so because we'll just get cut off at the end of the hour. We are just going to get cut off.
Yeah,
so.
35 minutes left, and that we'll talk about 2 things. What do you have in your chest, man? I'm dying to know.
All right, let's do the chest opening now. All right, I'm nervous. I'm hoping I can get some streamer luck today. We'll see if there's like this clip of the week thing. So if I can get something good, then maybe we'll get the clip of the week for that. All right, come on.
Yeah, this is not like the 30 that you had yesterday, right?
I mean, the bronze 30 chest. I'll tell you this. It was kind of disappointing to open because it's just like, you're going to get garbage in there. It's just a lot of garbage. So,
right. Well, let's see what we get here then.
It feels voluminous. Here, every time I click the button, I'm just like, the possibilities are endless.
You're right. The potential, absolutely.
All right, we're gonna start in them. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's get the audience involved in here. Guys, which one should I open? Left, right, or middle? I'm gonna go with the first couple of suggestions out there. Get some feedback here. And Boot Tops, yes, I'm only on for 1 hour. All right, I'm seeing start from the right, middle. It's a friend's account, middle, right, bottom. All right, I'm seeing more middle on the early.
Yeah,
calls.
I'm gonna go middle as well. So
we're gonna go middle first.
Yeah,
all right. Come on, shake for me.
Oh, hey, you got a card, not bad.
As soon as I saw it open, I was like, oh, that's too fast. All right, are we going right or left? I think I've seen more rights than left.
Yeah, let's go right. Let's
go right. 288
Not
DEC. Is that the minimum? No, the minimum is 48.
No, 144 I think was the minimum.
Okay.
Not bad, not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. And a Pellicore Bandit. All right. Well, this brings us to an interesting topic that you and I have already talked about for quite a bit of time today. But how are you feeling about the Champ Rewards? Given that example right there, and I'm sure you had many of your own.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I'm just praying it's all worth it, man. So I'm just hoping that the first week is a bit of an anomaly. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see any potions, right? At champion level. Ditch the potions. If I could give one piece of feedback, to work this hard and then to have, 1 or 2 potions, because again, we're only able to get, 5 to 10 chests per day, right?
Yeah.
And when I click, that chest and it comes up with a potion, I'm like, no. I don't mind getting a common card, right? Because I know the value of the common cards eventually is going to rise, right?
But still, even like the common cards right now, I didn't even get the new ones. I got the old ones that are going for like a penny each.
Yeah. So. Right, but that's not so bad, right? Because we're 50% through the minting of those, so they're eventually going to be gone, right? And then once they're gone, the price will rise. So I mean,
fair.
For the newer cards, right? We have a whole year probably of those dropping. So
that well, let's get into the print rates on those because I think we're seeing some really fast print rates in my opinion.
Yeah, where are we at? If you don't mind me asking.
Sure. Why don't we go check it out now? I think I have Splinter cards open. Print ring. So we want in print and the rewards rate. I'm looking at the rares and commons are already over 1%, and we're a week into their printing. So, I guess when I look at this and I actually extrapolate it out, I'm just like, all right, if they're printing at 1% a week, that's what, 100 weeks? That's 2 years, which doesn't seem right. But for some reason, for them to be at 1% already feels so fast.
It is because we haven't hit the season rewards yet, right?
Well,
these are only for dailies.
We did get the season rewards. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even sharing my screen here. So we did get the season rewards for the end of last season. Because remember,
we did get some of the newer cards. I guess we did.
We did get some of the newer cards there.
Yeah.
So I want to actually see what this looks like right before we get the
Yeah.
season end rewards for this season, and then see what those numbers are, because we can then extrapolate it out by a seasonal level, like how many seasons or how much percent are we moving per season from a printing standpoint. But
Right.
what will be interesting is if, and this isn't going to happen anytime soon,
Right.
but if the older cards start to go out of print, then the drop rate for the newer cards will like dramatically increase starting then.
Right.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still at like 50% on some of these older cards. So
Yeah, look, can you scroll down? Let's look at
sure.
some of the more commons. I usually base it yeah, so you look at that, right? So when we talked about this last week, what was it, 52% or so?
I think
So
it was higher, but
yeah, but
it feels like they're
yeah,
moving faster now.
right. So yeah, it does feel like they're moving faster. And so I'm gonna say, by the time of the end of the airdrop, right? So let's say in August, man, we're gonna be at, probably 70% for the commons, I would say, right? And that's when everything's going to take off, right? I
Mhm.
think I think we're going to see an acceleration.
Yeah. So are you, I mean, I know you've maxed out your rewards cards already at this point, or at least the
Yeah.
ones that you want. And for context for folks that might be new to you and how you kind of go about things, like you're a player first. The investment is kind of just a fun thing for you.
Yeah.
But when you see these cards or get these cards, let's say in a chest, like how are you feeling? Like what's your game plan with them?
Uh,
Like in the long run.
yeah, I don't know if I really have a game plan, right? I know the cards have value, right? I know that the scarcity of the cards will go up over time, right? As they're combined and leveled up and things like that. So I just know it's a waiting game, right?
Mhm.
Eventually they're going to be worth something. But I went through this already, right? And I think I've sold one card in the entire time that I've played, right? I don't rent cards out. I probably will based on some of the things that are happening now. But I just like the cards, right? Like it's the same as my Magic collection, right? I have tons of cards that are have value, but I don't think of them as things to be sold. I think of them as things to be used to be more competitive.
Okay. So, well, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have extra cards now,
Yeah,
right? So are
I
you
don't
not
know,
gonna
man.
sell them?
I have no idea.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
hold you to this commitment. I'm just
yeah,
curious.
I
Like
have no idea.
because for me, like from an investment standpoint, I don't mind getting them because it's like, okay, well, I expect them to appreciate in value over
Yeah,
time, and
I do.
then at some point, I will either rent them out or flip them, right? But
Yes.
I don't know. I'm always curious. Like part of me looks at it now and I'm just like, well, am I delaying the enjoyment that I would get from the game? Right?
Right.
Sure. Who wants to be selling these cards at a penny?
Yeah.
But if I'm getting so many of them, am I delaying my enjoyment of the game by not selling them for some value in order to level up the cards that I need to level up now, right?
Mm.
So that's kind of the struggle I go back and forth with sometimes.
I would much rather just delegate them to my friends and
Mhm.
call it a day, right? So, again, it's fun, right? This is a fun game. It's better to play with friends than without. That's really what it comes down to for me.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of friends playing this?
A few, yes. So now you and the guild.
Well, no, I don't count. I'm talking about people before you came to Splinterlands that you've tried to get into
Oh
the game.
no. So okay, so that was actually one of the problems, right?
Mhm.
So when I first started this, again, we have the affiliated program, right? So I was inviting people, but the problem was when I shortly after I started, Untamed sold out. So and the prices went sky high, right? Last summer it was outrageous,
Mhm.
it was crazy. And then my friends got tired waiting for the new set to come out. We didn't even have a date of when the new set was going to come out for months,
Yeah.
right? So they just kind of got tired of waiting, and I would delegate them cards, but it's not the same, right? When you have to wait for somebody to delegate your cards, you want your own cards, right? You want your own collection,
Yeah.
and they were like that, right? So they just kind of got bored and moved on to other stuff.
Do you think that the updated rewards would be an incentive enough for them to come back, or was it just not their thing to begin with?
So that's a good question. I I think the people that are already in the community and have already are in the community and are paying attention to the rewards, right? Yeah, we're all super excited about it, right? But if you've left the game and then you're not paying attention, this time will come and go, I think. And when the buzz starts back up and the bear cycle's over and we're in the middle of a bull run, oh, of course everyone will want to play then, but by then it'll be too late. So
I'm curious, and we can keep it more game focused, but obviously like Splinterlands exists in the crypto macro landscape, right? So it's still subject to what Bitcoin does, what how the economy is doing. We talk about this a lot in private and then also on the channel, but I'm curious for viewers here how, and none of this financial advice, so I should probably preface with that.
No financial advice.
Yeah, and I don't like me. I don't even, well, for folks who don't know me, I don't do price predictions because I think nobody knows what's going to happen. But just seeing where the world is at right now, how do you expect the next, I'll just say 2 years to play out within Splinterlands and then within the broader like crypto market? And the reason I give 2 years is because 2 years is until the next Bitcoin halving, and that usually cycles or starts the next run. So common knowledge and history would say that we're probably going to be in a down market or downtrend for 2 years. So how do you see Splinterlands playing out within that?
So Splinterlands is entertainment first, right? It's a game. And as humans, we like to play games, right? It's we start when we're young and we play them basically all through our lives. So I think from an entertainment perspective, it's doing exactly what it needs to do. From an investment perspective, it's a risk on asset, right? So anything dealing with crypto is risky. And so the world that we are in right now, there's a lot of things going on, right? And, is this the time for, people to invest in risk on assets? Hard to say, right? Every person has to decide that for themselves. But where do I think specifically Splinterlands will go? I think it'll be wildly successful in the next bull run. That's what I think. All the right things are being done now. All the frustrations that we're experiencing, right? Yeah. We will be the OGs, saying, referencing all the tough times and all. Oh, I remember when the new reward chest came out. It sucked. We didn't get anything. Now you guys are getting 1 million DC. You have to suffer like we suffered, right?
So I'm gonna watch this video.
I'm exaggerating, of course, right? But I think. All the right things are getting done now, right? It's going to be a decentralized game, right? So we're going to have regulation at some point, right? But in a decentralized platform, there's no central person to regulate per se, right? You'll regulate the individuals, but the organization, will be able to do its own thing, right? I like some of the decisions they've made. The nodes was a big deal, right? So. They're going to pay us early or start paying us assets earlier. I know that's a sensitive subject, very controversial.
You're only saying that because you're talking to me, but everybody else is excited.
Exactly. If I wasn't talking to you, I'd be like, woohoo! So, but we haven't really talked about that, right? I mean, I think that's a big thing, right? They made a decision to pay out the holders of nodes, and there's people are pretty salty about that, right? Because if they'd known that was happening before, they probably would have bought when it was cheaper, right? Yeah. That's real salt right there, right? However, it's still a good thing, right? Like it's still at the end of the day, they could have just held on to all of that, all those vouchers. Right? They didn't have to do that. They could have waited until Q4, and we would have cared, right? But the fact that they're doing it
we would have expected it because that's what.
Well, then we would have. Yes, we would have. But we definitely did not expect that we'll start getting payouts anytime soon, right? So, so that was a pleasant surprise. Should we have had a little bit of extra warning a couple of weeks ago? Yes. But again, I think it was a reaction to more than anything else. Right?
We don't have to get into it.
Yeah.
Icy Flow was on my stream earlier and already called me out for being too negative. So I'm trying to be more.
Oh, dude, he should have been listening to us talk earlier.
I know, but it's
He had
okay.
to
That was
talk me off the
a
ledge.
private conversation.
Yeah. I had to be talked off the ledge today. So yeah.
So Sneakery, thank you for the bits. Appreciate you for the raid and for the bits.
That's very nice.
All right. So Icy Flow saying, I think crypto gaming will have a slow and steady growth for the next year or two, then rocket next bull cycle. I can see that happening. They fixed the main thing for me, which is the growth of the game. And so this is something that you and I were actually talking about earlier based on some of the other sentiments you were seeing from other content creators. But just to kind of dig into that a little bit, there's several issues, and we don't have to get into all of them. But the main thing that I think they fixed, which makes me very bullish on the game and the growth of the game, is the fact that the new player experience is awesome. The new player experience is so damn good that champ level players want to set up alt accounts and play in bronze. That's how
crazy.
They overcorrected. It's so good right now that when you run out of ECR Darkestnyte, you're calling me and being like, hey, should I set up some alt accounts? And you're seeing that all across the board. So that problem was fixed. It was not just fixed, it was perfected. Maybe too much.
To me, it's inconceivable that given the value of some of these collections that we see people playing in bronze. That is outrageous. Yeah.
I mean, so Darkestnyte was talking to me earlier about like all the CP that he has, and he's like, dude, I could probably set up a bunch of like bronze accounts at this point.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to the meme. Somebody's gonna meme this for me, or me into the meme, is that like we are the bots now, right? So I'm playing my alt accounts, everybody's playing their alt accounts. So that problem I think was fixed. But what ends up happening is a lot of people are conflating this to say, well, the champ and the higher level rewards aren't that great. And so I think they're two separate problems that are getting conflated now due to the fact that like you're playing, or we are playing at the highest levels. We're not as happy with the rewards there, so therefore we are incentivized to play at the lower levels.
That is correct, and I think that's a problem, right? So, and again, I'm sure they're going to do analytics around the actual reward distribution, right? That makes sense. But in order to do that, you need data first to say, hey, here's what happened season 1, here's what happened season 2. I think they have a really good understanding of how they want to reward people. And they'll shift it, right? But they've proven in the past that they will shift that reward structure to reward the people that have made the biggest investment, right? My collection compared to some of the others that have been around longer, these guys have put in not just the financial investment, right, but the time investment. There were times when there were 2,000 people playing, right, and they were still here, and they were the original adopters of the game. People that do that should always, I think, benefit for that that faith that they put into the game early.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's catch up on a couple of comments here. So we got Icy Fall already. Drew's Blood saying 90 extra vouchers a day is great for me. Buy more nodes. All right. Well, yeah, I'm like this close on the fence to buying a node. I don't know what's holding me back, but I'm thinking about it because I need one now. So Vinop saying Splinterlands should be seen as a game with real digital value, but not as an investment. Although you can make money, buy your cards, and sell them on the net, as opposed to doing it in a store, as was done before. This game is not an investment. The game is not an investment. I like that approach. And actually, I've said this in the past that, my relationship with the game has changed tremendously, where, it's still difficult because, you coined the term, not coined the term, but you mentioned it before, like player investors. We're all player investors to a certain extent. But I've really tried to separate out like, okay, what am I being emotional about, like investing in this game? And so like the big thing for me is like, I try my best not to invest in cards anymore because the meta changes, the summoners change, the rule sets change, all this stuff. So I learned my lesson early on by getting burned on like going heavy on cards for rental value that completely lost. And now we're going through this other major kind of economic shift within the game that just shows, okay, all the rental cards or all the rewards cards have lost their rental value. So for me, when it comes to cards, I just focus on the cards that I want to play with and that I want to win with, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes it comes down to artwork, right? That was part of the town hall yesterday, right? They had some of the artists come on and show some of their work, right? And if you look at the cards from when we alpha and beta, they're pretty basic, right? But now the new cards are phenomenal, and some of them are animated, right? So that's even more insane. So that's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Luthien is referencing Princess Bride. Inconceivable. Did you say inconceivable?
I
You
did I
must have.
say inconceivable?
I was like, I don't think I said it. That's not really in my vocabulary.
Oh yeah.
So it must
I
have
think you
been.
know the meaning of the word. So that's one of my favorite movies, though.
It's a fun one. That's right. The new game experience is now really good. Splinterlands aims to be a great AAA game. Yeah, I'm excited about. I'm excited about it. So my thought on like where we're going long term, or like with over the next 2 years, is I think we're in a down market for the most part, unless Bitcoin can decouple from the rest of the economy. And if it does, it's going to do some fireworks. But I don't think it's going to happen either. I'm just saying that if it does, that would be fun. But if we do follow the trend over the next couple of years, what's interesting is you were talking about like risk on assets, and that is how I view the game too for many people. But it's funny that you mentioned this because you are a player first, not an investor. Right. So I wonder where this, we're going to be balancing on this tightrope of people who are looking at this as investors and therefore a very risk on asset, right? It's not just crypto, it's a crypto game, right? So, and people who are looking to spend discretionary income on entertainment, right? Because as they, as a recession potentially will hit, a lot of people reduce their spending and really only spend on items that they need. And what's interesting is that gaming to a certain extent ends up being somewhat recession proof, because if people can't go on vacations, they can't go out and all these things, they'll buy a video game and play at home and enjoy that. Now Splinterlands is a little bit different because it's a video game, but you also need to make a significant investment to be able to earn something. But I do wonder if now that the bronze experience is fixed, people can come in with a $10 spellbook, get something out of it, and feel like, hey, you know what? I'm not trying to make money on this, but man, it feels good to play a game that I own these things and like have a decent ROI on by the end of the year.
I think we've seen and heard a lot of stories about people that have either converted their assets. Funny story, right? And I think this is kind of what we're talking about. So last year, when we had the complete bull market and the prices were pumping, we did have a guildmate in our guild that said, "Hey, I, my collection is worth, the value of a house, and I'm going to liquidate my account. I'm going to go get married and buy a house, and it's life changing for me." And that's exactly what they did, never to be seen again, right? But the reality is, it was a life changing event for them, right? A lot of us could have done the same thing. And the reality is, without a plan to liquidate or have to have a plan or even to realize that, you'll continue playing the game for years if you want, right? And then one day you'll look up and, the assets are worth, potentially millions of dollars. There are Splinterlands millionaires, right?
Yeah.
So, so the reality is, we don't know what the future is going to hold, right? But I think the majority of us, we see the same people, we play against the same people. These are all people that have faith in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that faith eventually will be rewarded the same way it was for the first iteration of people that were, here for beta. And it just takes time, right? You got to be patient and just have faith that, the thing that you're spending all your time on is going to pay off eventually.
Nope, totally agree. All right, Ron saying there are people who spend thousands on microtransactions and never get anything out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen that a lot. We've seen that a lot of Web 2 games, and people like Splinterlands and don't differentiate between the two experiences. Yeah, again, like I try to make this really clickbaity title video a while back that Play to Earn is dead, and it's all about asset ownership now. But I truly believe that, like every other model that we've seen for gaming, where you receive a token, right, as a reward token. So Axie's SLP. Now, the other game that I'm covering, which is Step In. Did you get into that, by the way, or no?
So I have to buy my shoes, and so what's holding me up, right? I don't want to have a common pair of shoes, right? I want to have, exactly what the problem is. So I'm gonna get some shoes. They're gonna be awesome, and I have to learn what the shoes are, right? Like how they work. So, but yeah.
So there's someone that I've been talking about the game. I know we're talking about Splinterlands, but
Yeah.
I would say hold off for now because somebody who knows more than me seems to be very bearish on the space, thinking that the prices are going to go down even more. So you might get a better entry point.
Great. Yeah, that would be great.
Darkestnyte, I love Princess Bride too. I like you even more now. Oh, Luthien's good people. I can't wait for you guys to meet. Actually, I can't wait to meet you either, Luthien. So, so these people I've never met, but it's great, man. It's really cool. I feel like I've got to know so many people through this. It's just Splinterfest is going to be a fun time. Yep. So Bakwani, hello there. First time here for your slot. Hey, Bakwani, this is our first slot ever. So thanks for coming through. And Darkestnyte, I know that I just said this is our first slot. I don't want you to feel like I just signed you up for the rest of it.
You can always invite me, man. What else am I going to do, right?
You are always
play
welcome.
The game, or I'm going to talk about the game, right? So
that's true. That's true. All right. So Icy Flow. All right. Let's see what Icy Flow has to say. Key to renting going forward is to rent higher level cards, no more single BCX cards because CPU requirements value is plummeting. So this may spur people to start combining cards and decreasing supply. One of the things I said a while back was like, there's going to be an arbitrage, and I'm too lazy to go figure out where it is, but it's going to be on these rewards cards to level them up and see where the rental values are. Right now, I think people are already looking at that, where it's just like, I was collecting single BCX rewards cards because I want to flip them in the future, right? I don't think a pellet card band, it's going to be 1 cent at any point in the future, or at a certain point in the future. But in terms of like leveling them up, I lose that 1 BCX value, but there's the rental income that you could potentially get because there's demand for it at silver, gold, or champion.
Yeah, the whole Splinterverse, right, is in disarray right now, right? We've had a major change that we're still trying to figure out. The reactions, I think, will come after season. People will react based on what happens at the end of the season. Was all this time that we're spending worth it? Is it better to go into bronze or silver or some lower tier of play? We will have the answers to that in 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Or really 8 days, because it'll take time for us to kind of get through our rage, if it comes to rage, or to really appreciate what we've gotten and say, you know what, that was totally worth it. I'm going to totally do it again, right? So we don't know what that's going to look like, but to Icy Flow's point, right? People will have to make a decision, and they will have to make a decision around whether to combine, grow the power of their decks, and be more competitive or not, right? Yeah. So we don't know. And again, the bots are just now coming back, right? They came back today. Tomorrow there'll be more and more and more. And really, I think they're smart, right? I think Aggro said this yesterday, right? They're smart, right? They've done their analysis. They know where the sweet spot is, and they're going to figure that out. And then our environment's going to change significantly over the next couple of months.
That sweet spot is bronze.
Well, for us, right? Because we can only do so much, right? But if you automate that procedure, we don't know, right? We don't know yet. But I think there's an opportunity there. If you're the person renting the cards or selling the cards to them, then, you set the price, right? So
true. Yeah. And, we've talked about this before, but I'm not as worried about bots anymore because there are a limited amount of cards, right? So I think that things can still be exploited. My worry would be that when and as they come back, it could potentially raise prices on assets, which has this double-edged sword, right? Because then, I don't know, human psychology is interesting. People see prices going up and they're like, oh, I want to get in, right? And then when they're too high, they're like, well, I wish they were lower. But
so here's a question for you, right? Where are the most powerful cards right now located? Are they rewards cards or are they Chaos Legion packs?
I don't know. Right. What do you think?
I think they're packs. I think they're all hidden in the packs. Because remember, we don't even have the first of the legendary summoners yet.
True. Okay.
And if you look at the first one that's coming out, that's going to be brutally powerful, right, for life. That's going to change everything. That's going to literally disrupt everything. So
it'll be interesting to see life overpowered over all the other ones for a while, because who knows when we'll get the next million souls.
It's gonna change everything, right? So that's part of this, right? Half of the power and the competitiveness we don't even have access yet because we haven't gotten through the airdrop, right, for those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Looks like Mosho's trying to kick us out in 5 minutes. Wow, that went fast.
It did, yeah. Wow. See, yeah. For us, we're normally 2.5 hours. Right? So
you go like 2.5 hours in. All right, let's catch up here. So legendary untamed summoners. Look at those rental prices. Those are going up. For silver is incredible high in comparison to bronze. What's going on, Splinterlands Coliseum? How are you? Cool. Well, we should go ahead and wrap up here.
Yeah.
I wanted to do some giveaways, but I just realized I don't have the mechanism to do that here. Should we just do it next time?
Yeah, we'll do double next time.
All right, we'll do double next time. Sorry, guys. I need to set up. I need to become friends with Nightbot or something.
Yes, Nightbot. Ignores me.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and I guess wrap up. Final thoughts on. Actually, no, not final thoughts. What are you looking forward to most this summer? And to help you kind of anchor your answers.
Yeah.
We're expecting Modern and Wild.
Yep.
Sometime end of month or probably next month. We're expecting the end of the airdrop, July 26th, I think is the last day. We are expecting Rift Watchers potentially August, September. We're expecting Land sometime maybe in Q4.
So much.
So if you had to pick one thing out of those that you're looking forward to, what would it be and why?
Yeah, Land. Because Land for me is the next iteration of a real environment that we can interact with, right? It's a change to the game in a very fundamental level. So you see there are lots of games out there that are much more, that are not, Splinterlands is an auto battler, right? You set your team and it kind of does its thing. What we're talking about with Land is having new cards, minting new cards, and have specific effects on how that game unravels. Or that battle unravels, right? So I think that's going to be critical. At the same time, right, the holders of the land, the holders of those resources will be able to create an entirely new economy. And I'm excited about that, right? Because we have no idea what that's going to mean.
Yeah.
So if Splinterlands maintains its trajectory in a positive direction, which I think it's going, and we double the number of players, then the holders of land will have a very integral part in the success of the game, right? They're no longer passive investors. They're, artisans, if you will, for the future. So Land, I think, has the biggest impact, which is why I think it's taking so long, right? Because I think they understand the impact that it can have to the game. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting once Land comes in. To me, that's like so far down the road. I know it could potentially be around the corner, but I feel like the shift is gonna be even more monumental than this rewards update. It's just gonna add a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, it's just a change, right? So I think if you look at the change that just came this week with rewards, the rework of the rewards, there was a lot of excitement about that. But fundamentally, it wasn't that big of a change, right?
The game didn't change itself.
Yeah, the game itself did not change. And if you look at the excitement that we had for weeks, right? The nodes coming out, right? That was a lot of excitement around that. Heck, I even bought a plushie this week, right? So, I mean, there's
you bought one?
I bought two.
Oh, you bought two?
I bought both.
Are they sold out? I saw that they were available.
No, they won't be sold out for a while, right?
Okay.
So the way it works is you place an order. If they hit their required amount, then they go ahead and create them.
Okay.
So from order to delivery, it's about 2 months or so. So, but I mean, there's stuff, right? There's like tons of stuff. Some of it I think is good. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with a plushie, but I wanted it, so I got it. So that's it. I mean, it's just good times, right?
I think it would hurt my heart if I owned a Jotun plushie, but not a Jotun. So I guess I can't.
Well, yeah. So the Jotun pool, right? So you got to make
the Jotun pool, the Jotun fund, right?
Yes.
I'll need to start saving up. All right, guys. I think I'm probably going to get kicked off of here. We're going to get kicked off of here.
Yep.
I don't know, at some point within the next 45 seconds. So I just want to say thank you so much. This is the first time. Please give a shout out and show your gratitude to Darkestnyte. Darkestnyte, thank you for being here.
Anytime.
Do you have a place where people can connect with you? online? Do you want people to connect with you? If you don't, you can say no.
Challenge me in game.
Challenge him in game. Darkestnyte
Yeah.
is the thing. If you guys are looking for more content like this, you can just search me up on YouTube, Aftersound. There's 2 channels. One is my music, but the Aftersound Gaming is where I focus specifically on here. So yes,
Awesome.
looking forward to chatting with you guys next week. This is great.
Take care.